Top 10 wide receivers for 2023. Number 10, Davante Adams might be getting older, but he showed no signs of slowing down last year. 100 receptions, 1,300 receiving yards, and 11 receiving touchdowns for the fourth time in the last 5 seasons. Led all wide receivers in target share, 32.6%, while ranking 5th in air yard share, 39.4%, and 8th in fantasy points per route run. Adams should be a good wide receiver 1 but will probably finish outside the top 8 with all the question marks at quarterback and frustration with the offense. Number 9, Garrett Wilson coming into 2023, will have a major upgrade at quarterback with Aaron Rodgers. Last year in games started by non-Zach Wilson Jets QBs, Wilson averaged over 17 fantasy points, 6 catches, 11 targets, and 82 receiving yards per game. Top 10 fantasy WR numbers and could finish even higher in 2023. No Jets QB completed more than 60% of their passes last season. Rodgers' career average is 65.3%. Some people have this guy marked as a sleeper in 2023, but nobody will sleep on him in drafts and you shouldn't either. Number 8, CeeDee Lamb. In 2022 we finally got to see CeeDee Lamb perform at the WR1 level we were hoping for but was limited by Doc's injuries. Lamb put together nearly 1,400 yards and 9 touchdowns, finishing as the WR6 on the year. Cooks was brought in at WR2 and T.E. Schultz hit free agency. Overall, Lamb should have just as good a season as he did in 2022. Number 7, A.J. Brown is the most physically dominant WR in the game right now. Brown did not disappoint, finishing 2022 with nearly 1,500 yards and 146 targets. It's clear he is the main weapon on this offense. Last year he had 11 touchdowns, which was half of Hurts' 22 passing TDs, but Hurts looks to add to that TD total in 2023 and Brown would benefit greatly. Number 6, Amon-Ra St. Brown is elite for fantasy. He is a possession WR with top-tier route running and target share. With Jameson Williams being suspended for the first 6 games, St. Brown should start the season on fire. He is locked in as the top option on an offense that will frequently be playing from behind. It's the perfect storm for fantasy, and you should be ecstatic to have him as your WR1 for 2023. Before we reveal wide receivers 6 through 10, like and subscribe to keep seeing fantasy football videos like this going into the 2023 season. Number 5, Tyreek Hill has showed no decline with the move from Kansas City to Miami. Hill was the WR3 in fantasy points per game, accumulating 5 weeks with 140 or more receiving yards. He led the league in deep targets while scoring 9 total touchdowns and had a ridiculous 31.6% target share, second best, while ranking first in yards per route run. If he could punch in a few more touchdowns this season along with a healthy Tua, he could finish as a top 3 wide receiver. Number 4, Stefon Diggs remains among the elite wide receivers in the NFL. His streak of 3 consecutive seasons with at least 100 receptions, 1,225 receiving yards, and 8 receiving scores makes him a reliable option as your wide receiver 1. Diggs was the wide receiver 6 in 2022, but I fully believe he has at least another top 5 wide receiver season in him, and after some disgruntlement in offseason he may have something to prove in 2023. Number 3, Cooper Kupp. In 2022 the Rams offense collapsed with injuries. Cooper Kupp was on his way to another fantastic season before being shut down with a high ankle sprain, keeping him on injury list with nothing to play for. Kupp ranked 3rd in target share, 31.0%, 4th in target per route run rate, and 12th in air yard share, 34.5%. All added up to another WR1 finish in fantasy points per game. Even with him turning 30, he should still put up top 3 numbers with Sean McVay and Stafford returning for 2023. Number 2, Ja'Marr Chase led all WRs in red zone targets per game, 28 in 14 games played, and expected fantasy half PPR points per game, 16.4. He is an extremely strong bet to finish number 1 in red zone targets and receiving touchdowns in 2023. His 22 receiving touchdowns through his first 2 seasons are the most by any wide receiver since Odell Beckham Jr. Chase also has a QB that could easily throw for 45+ TDs. Before we reveal number 1, like and subscribe to keep seeing fantasy football videos like this going into the 2023 season. Number 1, Justin Jefferson. The Minnesota wideout finished 1st in fantasy points scored, 10th in target share, 28%, 3rd in yards per route run, 2.70, and 2nd in expected fantasy points per game, 15.9, in 2022. He is coming off a lower-end 8 TD year compared to 10 in 2021. Easily expect him to score 10+ touchdowns with Thielen gone and Hockenson demanding red zone coverage. Subscribe and follow to see our top wide receiver sleeper list.